Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Tomb Raider 2 Remastered. Today we are taking on Bartoli's Hideout, which we have somehow managed to discover in the depths of Venice. This one is quite a linear level, I have to say. There's not a huge amount of backtracking or moving around sideways to come back on yourself. It's fairly straightforward, although there is one particular secret that is a bit devious. The second one's a little devious, but not too bad. The third one is, you can miss this if you just jump the gun, but we'll get to that. We've got our boat from the last level, and all we're going to do is just take it up to here, and this is the last we'll use of the boat. I think for the whole game. I can't remember if we I can't remember having a boat in a later level, though I could be wrong. I think it's definitely used in the DLC, but I don't remember having a boat for the rest of the level. Anyway, what we want to do is we want to get into here, which is the start of Bartoli's hideout itself. In order to do that, we gotta go find a switch. As you can see, Bartoli's not the most... Well, I suppose it'd be a bit unfair to call him unclean. I suppose Venice itself does have a little bit of a sewer problem. What with all the canals throughout the entire city. But anyways, this guy comes running at you as soon as you come around here, but you can easily take him out before he gets to you, and then there will be a couple of rats more up here that can kind of sneak up on you if you're not expecting them, but it's not like the rats take a whole lot of effort to kill. This is a switch that will open those big doors, and you'll see another muscle man on his way, but if we just chill out here, he will come to us, and we can take him out just before he gets to us, and he will drop a small medipack. So I think I have a slight correction to make from the previous level. I think there was some point where I mentioned there was a door or gate that opened once we walked near it, and that was the only time that happened. It's not the only time that specifically happens. It does happen in this level as well, but if I remember right, it's not necessary for the critical path, which it makes it a little bit more acceptable in my books. So I am going to start using the automatic pistols a little bit more from this level, just because they don't necessarily shoot any faster, but they do more damage than the pistols, and it's just it kills the gun wielding enemies a lot faster, which is fine by me. It means I'm not using medipacks as much. Now, you can see the dogs bounding around out here. That should be your trigger to realize that these are more windows that you can shoot out. And there is a nice little swath of goodies out here, which is worth taking a look for. If I remember right, this is, if you didn't pick them up in the last level, this is where you would find the automatic pistols. Instead, we get automatic pistol ammo, as well as flares and a small medipack instead, which is kind of the recurring thing that will happen throughout the game. There's multiple points where you can pick up weapons. If you get it the first time, the next time it would turn up, it'll just give you ammo instead. So next up, we have a bit of a weird immersion breaker here, where we have magic knight suits of armor. A little bit weird, because everything up to this point, apart from like the main cutscene with the dragon and stuff, everything around here has been fairly kind of realistic. You know, boats, mines, guns, thugs with bats, dogs, rats. And now we just have this weird, like, swingy knight, which always took me weird. Struck me as kind of weird, but look, it is what it is. We just have to run past them. It's not too bad. At the very end here, we have a switch, which will open up another door. That's now our target. The other side of this is another little zone. It's kind of like Tomb Raider loves to do this, and I quite enjoy that it does this. It's a bit of foreshadowing. We are going to find our way here a little later. Technically, we could just swim in there now. The broken windows on the far side there. We can just follow the canal out the front, and it will bring us around to there. But there's not really much point because we're going to access that from a different direction later on. But I guess it does mean that there's multiple paths to the same place. But if you swam around to there now, you wouldn't be able to progress. So in order to actually progress, what we need to do is we need to get up top. There are, again, a couple of ways to do this. You can use this, and you can jump up and you can go around, but I tend to use a much easier way. I'm not entirely sure if it's the intended way to do it, but if you stand right on this crack between the tiles, you can just about reach this ladder. And it's much simpler, much easier. Well, it might take you a couple of tries to get the positioning right, but once you kind of know what you're looking for, it's fairly easy. We are supposed to go right here for progression, but before we move on, I also want to grab this ammo from the guy who was shooting at us when we first came in those doors. So we'll do just that, and then we can go up to the right and out that way. Again, while I'm here, I just want to mention this, these like things on the wall, the little statue things. I love that they kind of have a bit of a false 3D effect. Like when you look at them from the side, you can see that they're perfectly flat, but when you look at them from the front, they kind of look like they're 3D. That there's like an arch behind them, and they're kind of in a little indent in the wall. And I just think that's a really cool touch because they were just completely flat features in the original. If I pass by another one later on, I'll switch over to the original graphics and you can see what I mean. But it's a little bit like how I was talking about these ladders, I think it was in the first level, that they just have this false 3D effect that I just think is a really cool optical illusion, and a really effective way of kind of adding a little bit of extra detail. Right, so out here we're going to have a guy to our right who'll start shooting at us. So we need to take care of him before he does too much damage. Come on, buddy, where are you? You can hear him walking around. Come on. Come on. He doesn't usually take this long to come out. I hope he's not stuck or bugged. I prefer to kill him from here because we will be going over to that balcony shortly. You can just about make out in between the... Oh, there he is. And he runs away. You can just about make out in between the banisters there the first secret, which is the silver dragon. So I prefer to kill this guy from here because he doesn't shoot at you too much from here. But if you were on top over there, he would definitely be shooting at you quite a lot. In order to get around to there, so the door we opened is across from that awning at the end. So that's where we're trying to get to. So we're going to do a little bit of platforming to get there. And this is where the game kind of gives you a little bit more obtuse kind of platforming puzzles where it makes you think about how the mechanics of the game works. So you can't stand on this awning, but you can shimmy along the edge. So if you grab the edge, shimmy down, climb up, and then immediately jump off it on the far side, you will get to your intended target. Which is some very clever... it makes you think about things slightly different. Makes you kind of almost exploit the way that the physics and platforming works. And I just really enjoy that. It makes you really kind of think about what... Not necessarily what should be possible, but what is or isn't possible with the system they have. So we just jump across to here. This one is flat enough for us to walk on. And now this is a particularly tricky jump. You can't just run off the edge because you won't make it. You can try to jump from, you know, a little bit further back, but it's hard to judge. The easiest way is to actually jump from the very edge, take a standing jump, but hold action mid-air, because it will kind of curtail Lara's jump, and she won't hit off the top of the door and just bounce back out. For example, hold action in the air, and she just kind of drops in. Immediately draw your guns, because we are going to have some dogs running at us. You should be able to take them out before they get to you, just about. So if we didn't hold action, we would have effectively just hit ourselves off the top of the door and bounced straight back down into the water. We would have to go all the way back around, which can be a bit frustrating. Again, Tomb Raider punishes you for not knowing things the first time. Like, there's a lot of instant kills. There's a lot of, you make this mistake because you don't know any better, but now that you've made it, the next time around you'll know. And I guess it kind of artificially elongates the levels, but once you've done it once, you know it's there. Also, this is a perfect example of these. What they actually used to look like is this. Very pixelated, flat surfaces, which is cool. And you may also have spotted, while I was here, in the old graphics, this is very obviously a door that functions. In the new graphics, it's not that obvious. If you know what to look for, I guess it kind of is, but it's, you know, they've hidden it a little bit better in the new graphics that they've applied. In here, we are going to have an enemy, so I'm going to pull out the automatics, because he does have a gun, and I don't want to take too much damage. Oh, I didn't even take any. Fantastic. Some enemies from here on out are going to not drop stuff. This is a perfect example, and the next particular group of enemies that come up soon that won't drop anything. So the way you're supposed to go to continue on, whoops, sorry, wrong button, to continue on here is straight out that window, which will take you to a balcony and the whole way around. The first secret, though, this is where we access it. So right here, kind of hidden into the corner of the wall, is a switch. It's slightly more visible, the old graphics, but it's right in this corner. It's really easy to miss because you run into this room that's behind you. You never really see it unless you turn around. But once you open it, it doesn't even tell you where it is or what it opens, but what it does open is this door I was pointing out just a minute ago. And that's why I chose to kill this guy from the far side, because it's a bit narrow of a space to try to fight him here. You can't really jump because you could easily fall over the edge of the balcony. You have to go the whole way around again. So it's easier to just take him out from over there, which is where we started, and just pick up the shotgun shells once you're here. So that's the first secret. 2 more to go. All in all, good progress so far. There is an enemy on the other side of this window. So again, we're going to come here, and once we hear him, jump back, and we'll... There we go. I don't know if the side steps really do anything worthwhile, but it's nice to keep moving when you're in combat. I feel like it makes a difference. Again, we have a bit of foreshadowing here. This is another area we will be reaching soon. We'll make our way around to there. Not in the not too distant future. But we shall demonstrate shortly. So, into here we go, and I'm going to hit a quick save here, because we get a little, this can get a little bit dicey, this one. So again, I'm going to pull out these, so we're going to have, this door is going to open, which is the door from which we came, the other side of that door is the room we were just in, where we came out onto the balcony. That's going to open immediately after we enter this room, and a dog and a guy are going to come in and start swinging for us. But there's also going to be a guy who comes at us from behind us here. So what I'm going to try to do, which I may not be successful in, I'm going to immediately try to get up onto here. No, okay, so we're fighting. So that ambush can be really tough because it's such a small enclosed space. One comes from behind you, one comes from in front of you, and it kind of sandwiches you in, and it's a bit tough. And none of them drop anything, so you don't even get like a medipack or anything as a reward for this. So now that we've done all that, What was the point of all this, you ask? Well, I wouldn't be surprised if you looked at this and went, well, that was just a trap designed to kill me. And I mean, to be fair, it was. But the actual progress for the path is in the fireplace. This is a movable block. Very, very easy to miss. Again, one of those things where you kind of just have to know it's there, or trial and error, try random stuff until you find it. So you push it twice, it opens up this little pathway. And there's a rat just up here that we're going to try to get. Yep, there we go. Right, now, this this is an interesting trap room. I'm just going to save here again because there's parts of this that could be a one-hit kill if you make a mistake. So the way this tends to work, the way that it's intended to work, is you're supposed to slide down this, avoiding the blade traps here, and then there'll be a sequence of flames here that you have to kind of jump through. It's considerably easier to avoid these blades by just swan diving over the side into the water, and then just surfacing up here. Completely cuts out the blades. You can try to do it the way it's intended, but it can be a bit tricky. You probably will take damage. So the way this works is, as soon as you step onto this wooden tile, all the flames go out. So the idea is that you're supposed to jump across all the way to the end. Now, what I'm going to show you, I think, is actually a bug. You're not supposed to be able to do this. But if you swim right to the end here, and if you aim yourself for directly the middle of this flame, if you climb out and just keep going forward, you will pass straight through the flame without taking any damage. If you try to go back through it, you'll set on fire. But I don't know what triggers it, but you don't catch fire. And I'm okay with that. So this door is going to open as you go this way. This guy's going to start shooting at us. Again, this is kind of an example of a door opening without you doing anything. But there's, like, once you get past the flames here, this does tend to just open. So you don't have to go looking for a door and walk up to it to make it open. This kind of does just open as you get to it. Anyway, with all these dead, you can like aim for the guy with the gun first. I know you don't get to aim exactly who you're shooting at, but you will normally lock on to the guy with the gun first. If you take him out, then it's child's play to just take out the dogs, because they can't climb up onto that that part up there. Don't make the mistake of climbing and jumping out here. That is back to the start of the level, and is not a good plan. Realistically, what we're trying to do here is we're going to climb these chandeliers, and basically work our way up to the roof and then back down. So the easiest way to do this, climb up onto this. This is the lower of the 3 chandeliers, and you'll be able to just jump straight up. There is no logic behind why this is a walkable platform. It is a series of metal bars, as it was in the original rather pixelated kind of setup, but this is in fact the way to go. I assume the idea is that you're kind of balancing on the bars, but we're going to jump all the way across these chandeliers. This last one, just take a standing jump from the end, and up you go. We get some nice Tomb Raider theme going on, and a couple of rats. There's another one hidden behind the corner. Right, so from here, we're going to walk around here and climb up onto the rafter. You won't be able to pull up, so just shimmy across. And up we go. So try to keep yourself as close to this middle column as you can, because it's the roof at its highest, and then just jump straight across here. You'll just about make it. Next up, we're going to cross this, but I'm going to draw my shotgun, because as soon as you get up onto this brick, this brickwork, a guy is going to climb up from the other side. So you want to take a chance, take a shot, and then take another shot before he gets the chance to kind of hit you back. And thankfully he drops a small medipack. A few enemies now with no medipacks to be seen, so him dropping one can be quite relieving. So again, this side we are going to jump across to the rafter. You're going to need to make sure you're aiming for the side with the highest, because you can very easily hit the roof and fall all the way down to your death, which is a little bit frustrating to climb all the way back up. But you should just be able to standing jump across to here where there is a little switch. Now, you may be wondering what that did. If you didn't quite make out the sound, it was the clinking of chain links. And basically what it's done is it has raised and lowered the chandeliers. So now this one on this side is the highest, and on the far side is the lowest. And you might be wondering, what the hell was the point of that? Well, I will show you, because the whole purpose of this room is actually to get a key. A very well hidden key. I skipped by it earlier. There is a switch over here. There's also a switch behind us, but the switch here will reveal exactly why this room is so complicated. This opens a painting, and that painting is directly across from us here and has a key in it. Accessing that, it's too high to jump from the ground, but it's not really possible to hit from here. It's too far, and this chandelier being up the top, it's not possible to land that jump either. So by lowering the chandelier means we can take a straight running jump straight across and grab the key. What's the key for, you might add? You might ask even. We don't technically know yet, because we haven't seen it yet. Though it will be very easy to get to this room, pass through it without doing the puzzle, and then be left slightly later on with a keyhole that you don't know where the key is. Which I suppose does add a little bit of kind of back and forth into this level, that if you know what you're doing, doesn't quite happen. So now we've got the key, we're going to head over to this side, and there is another switch right here. This one opens up a trapdoor, which may not be immediately obvious where that is, but it's actually behind the fireplace, which is down there. So now, instead of the bottom windows, we're going to go out these windows. These ones are the only one that you can continue forward with. The other ones all drop off down to bottom there. I don't know if I can get a good look at it, but it's just another part of the canal on the far side of the building, basically. So from here, we are going to drop. You don't necessarily need to safety drop, but it is kind of easy to drop. If you don't take it easy, you can easily run off and potentially land in the fire, or on the platform with the fire and take damage. So I prefer to safety drop, which does let out a little bit of a scream towards the end. And this is where the library key goes, which is kind of alluded to by the books outside, which I never really kind of copped that in the original. They're very standout, but I guess I never put two and two together. There is a switch here. We're not going to go into the library just yet, but there's a switch here that opens the door, the underwater door to the right. See it open there. And when we swim out here, you may recognize this area as where we were talking about earlier with the broken windows, and up there is where we pulled the very first switch. Maybe not the very first switch, but one of the early switches anyway. So you could swim around to this area, but you couldn't get into there where the double doors and the library key is used. There's not really a whole lot of point to it until you hit that switch. But this is also the location of the second secret. So technically you could get the second secret from quite early in the game, or in the level, but I prefer to do it as you're passing through this zone, personally, because it just feels like a better flow. It's a bit of a maze, but if you swim down here and then immediately turn around there is a way to go here, straight through, and under this little gap, and to the left you will get grenades, and to the right you will get your second secret, the golden dragon. You can, if you like, hit this switch. It's another way to get back around. It's also another way to access, if you didn't want to go through the back of the if you couldn't figure out to go through the back of the fireplace, this is another route around to this fire puzzle. You can come up from the bottom by going around through that little maze. Multiple paths to the same end location, basically. But I go through the back of the fireplace usually because I just feel like it's an easier access overall. So we're going to go back out the way we came. You can go through the trap again and through the chandelier door and all the way back around, but we are going to just swim back around to here, and because we opened this from the switch on the far side, we can just continue back to the main path from where we left off. So we are probably about halfway through this level now, which is decent progress. I'm happy with it so far. I hope I haven't accidentally missed any of the drops from the from any of the enemies. But once we're here, we're going to have an enemy come from here. I didn't actually need to use my automatic pistols there. I couldn't remember if he had a gun or a club. As it so happened, it was a club. So anytime there's an enemy with like a club or a melee weapon, I tend to not use any of the ammoed weapons. I just tend to use the pistols because you can kind of jump around and keep my arm's length. It's not really all that necessary to use any of the other weapons. Now, that does only apply to this game. In other later levels, there are some melee enemies which kind of necessitate the use of other guns. Anyways, you can see the switch over here, and that, again, that is the critical path. That's the main route through the level. But we have some things to do. So first things first, we're going to go into the back here. And again, it never, ever tells you you can do this. And it's kind of a bugbear of mine. In this whole zone, this whole small little subsection of this level, all of these bookcases are climbable. Never, ever in the game prior to this does it ask you or show you that you can climb bookcases. Even worse, there are bookcases in Lara's manor that you can't climb. This is a big bugbear of mine. Most of the other kind of ladder style things have a kind of a 3D effect on them, but these don't really. So it's hard to even assume that you could climb these. I get that they're kind of for a secret. Like I get it. But I just don't like it. I think it's a bit of a hard sell to tell me that that's, you're just supposed to know that. Like without accidentally figuring that out. Anyway, the guy that comes out of that door does have a gun, so we're going to use automatic pistols here. I don't think he drops anything. No. So again, this is going to lead us into another room with a load of bookcases. You can go out there. We will go out there shortly, but we're going to take a different route to it. So we're going to climb up this bookcase. I'm going to turn around, and we're going to take a jump over to here. And we're going to go up this bookcase. I guess even what we're doing here technically isn't a secret. What we're going for here, it's not classified as a secret, but it's definitely an item that you wouldn't know is here. Like, it's not, this is the only way to get it. Whoa, we're dead. Shit. Oh, that's frustrating, because I don't remember last time I saved. Alright, I'll be back here in a couple minutes. Alright folks, we are back, and I've hit a save here just in case the same thing happens again, but hopefully it won't. So we are after this little secrety thing that you will see what I'm talking about fairly soon. So Tomb Raider has this bit of a weird thing where if you kind of have a small little gap, like a tiny little gap, you can just kind of run over it and you'll do a little bit of a fall animation but continue on, just because there's a little bit of hang time. So what we want to do here is we want to get to this little ledge on the far side. You can slide down it front ways and jump. It's a little bit more difficult to gauge. I prefer to slide down backwards, grab it, and then at the very end just hold jump once you get up and you'll make it. From here, do not drop down to here because that is just the bottom of the bookcases, the windows we pointed out previously. What we want to do is jump over to here because this is too tall for us to reach from the ground. And we want to jump over to here. So again, this is a little bit of the foreshadowing from earlier. We were up there earlier. That's kind of the way we came around, and I showed this kind of area out here from above. What we want to do here is we are trying to get to that brick wall on the far side. But trying to make this jump over to the roof of the boathouse it's just too far to go. But this end here is raised, which means we have the tiniest bit of extra height to be able to make that jump. So all of this floating around, doing different things is all just to get over to here and over the other side, which does not give you a dragon, but it does give you the Uzis. And as far as I'm concerned, that's pretty worth it. The Uzis are probably one of the best guns in, I would argue, most of the first 3 Tomb Raider games. Definitely the first game, considering you only get 4 weapons, I think. Arguably this game does have one better weapon, but it's debatable as far as I'm concerned. You do get I think it's an M16 assault rifle later on in the game, and it's probably more powerful, but you can't move while you use it, and that to me just kind of, that's the downside. That's the bit that kind of takes it away. I like to be able to move, but it does have a longer range than the rest of the weapons. I totally forgot about this guy, actually, but it's okay because we got him anyway. I always forget he's just hiding around the corner. So the whole point of this little boathouse is for this. I had no idea what this was back in the day. It looked like a key to me, but it doesn't have any teeth like a key. In the new graphics, they have etched TNT on the top of it, which makes it a little bit more clear what it is. And when you go into your inventory, wrong way, we want key items, it says detonator key. So you can see there the TNT written on it. And again, this is the item that can make it tricky to get the last secret. So we're going to jump back over to here. Oh, I meant to run and jump. There's a reason I want to run and jump over to this. We're going to take a lot of damage if I don't. Because there is a guy right here who just blasts away. And if you... he'll start shooting at you as soon as the door opens, which is as soon as you start to climb up from the water. So you'll take a load of damage before the climbing animation happens and ends. So if you take the jump and draw your... you'll need to hit action to not bounce off the top. But if you draw right as you land, you take considerably less damage. But at least it gives you a large medipack for your troubles, to be fair. Which kind of means that if you took a lot of damage, you could just use that. But I like to try to save them. Anyway, this is kind of where we were looking down on from before with the awnings. And I said don't drop down here because you can't jump back up. So this is just going to bring us back into the library. Into this room that we started in. Now, we are going to pull this lever. So the whole lot of this, climb the bookcase, hit the switch, open to this door, climb up, all of that is just to get the is just to get the Uzis. And I don't know if there's another way that you can reach the detonator key. It might actually have to go that way to get the detonator key. Anyway, we're going to have a couple of enemies here who can do a lot of damage very quickly. So I'm going to drop a quick save. And they'll start shooting through the window as soon as we get to here. So just immediately start firing back, try to get as much damage out, and that's exactly what I mean. Both of them shooting at you just wipes your health out. So I'm glad I saved. Don't have to go back, don't have to do a cut. We'll give this another go. Yeah, a lot of damage. We're not going to have a lot of enemies, I'm just going to use a small one. There we go. Okay. There's only going to be one more enemy, and I hope I can get him without using another medipack, because I don't really want to have to use another one. Depending on where that... Oh, it's right here. I was going to say, depending on where that guy died, I'm not sure where the shotgun shells would be, but there they are. So there's this other little veranda section, which is the complete other side of the building. And now that I think about it, that is the only way to get the detonator key. There's no other route around to there, I don't think. Although there's an argument, I'm actually just really tempted to trial this really quickly. Can you reach the top of this? No. Okay, so you do kind of have to go up and around to get the detonator keys. Not really any other way to get it. So I spoke a slight mistruth. You do have to go that way. Right, again, this door is going to open as we walk towards it. It's the only way through, so you kind of just trial it because you've learnt it from the first level. And we are going to... This is the last little... I was going to say room, but it's an open area. So this is the last little zone of the level. So immediately... Jump up here. Oh, no, apparently not. It's okay. Not going to do us too much damage anyway. I like to just jump, side jump up to there, kill the rat. So, this is where the detonator key goes. It is a big detonator plunger, and it will make a big explosion. However, what it will also do is as soon as we use that, it will stop us getting the third secret. So we're not going to touch it. Instead, we're going to go this way and all the way down to the end here and up to here, because this is where the third secret is. And that'll also come with 4 shotgun shells because it's the third and final one. Right, with all 3 secrets obtained, and I think that's all of the pickups. Yep, 28 of 28 on all 3 secrets. So that is effectively this level 100%. If there's one more enemy to kill, it's very possible he'll get a bit of damage in on me here. So what I might do is save, because I don't want to use another medic pack. Now, I've tried this a load of different ways to try to see this, but the game does this really clever thing where no matter what way you stand, the camera always goes to the side. And it's kind of annoying because all I want to do is see this explosion, but you never get to see it. So once you use the detonator key here, you can't see the camera. Use the plunger. There's a big bang, big flash of light. No, okay, we didn't get out of the way in time. That is what I was afraid of. But yeah, I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna immediately jump to the left and see if that's good enough. Come on. Okay, yeah, good enough. Oh, come on. I thought I was in cover. Alright, one more time. I could potentially start... actually, I want to be slightly... Yeah. Let me just make sure I have the right guns. Yeah. Okay, use the detonator key. As soon as we do it, we're going to jump to the left and draw our guns. Got him. Great. So that's the last enemy. And that just blew the shit out of the building on the far side here, which the top level of which is where we got that third and final secret. So because that explosion happens when you use the detonator key, it takes out the end of this little walkway and the ledge outside the window. So now there is no way to get back up into there. So you you lock yourself out of that secret if you jump the gun and use that detonator key before coming up here. But anyways, once you do blow up this, you do need to come through this. Actually, is this? Oh yeah, I never noticed that before. So you can actually access this floor, but where the actual secret was is now gone. It's been blown apart. I never noticed it before. I always thought this was just a lower level, but yeah, now that I look around and see the broken window, yep, it just blows the secret up instead. But we do actually need to climb up through the building anyway, and up to here. That balcony there is where the enemy was shooting at us, but he doesn't have any pickups, so I'm not try to make my way over there. Climb up around here and slide down this little bit at the end, and that is the end of the level. So we got a little breakdown here. All 3 secrets, 28 pickups and 37 kills. We only used a small medipack, which I'm pretty happy about. I didn't really want to go mad on that because between levels you get all your health back. And later levels will just demand a lot of medikit use. So I prefer to just save them up as much as I can while the enemies aren't too tough. But anyways, that is that. We will move on to the next level next time, which will be the Opera House, which is, in my opinion, an extremely fun level. Although it seems to be Marmite for a lot of people, where some people love it, some people hate it. It's a long one as well. But we'll crack on to that the next time. So until then, thanks for watching. I'll see you again real soon.